Hello, my fellow combatants. Spaceman Jew here. I'm back at you with another video. So today, uh, what I really want to talk about is just a response to uh, a comment that I have by the name of Knabrotzky. And the reason why I specifically want to reply to this one is because some of the things that he in his comment is some of the things that I'm always talking about. So this isn't anything like I wrote anything down. This is just me just immediately responding, right? So um, one of his first points, he says Cyrex and Sector are lacking uh, personality and fan intrigue. I'm sorry. This right here is subjectively not true. And the reason why is because Cyrex and Sector are some of the most asked for characters. People ask for them for MK11, and people ask for them for MKX. You know, they are some of the most well-known and more popular characters because of the whole ketchup and mustard. Not the YouTubers, but just that little fun fact. When they were first made, they didn't have the name Cyrex and Sector, so they just called them ketchup and mustard as placeholders. So they have fan intrigue. Their fans are there. Next, the personality has been established since MK4, MK Daily Alliance, and MK Armageddon, and MK9, right? So MK Daily Alliance is when we first saw that Cyrex was black. That was when, if you like the alternate costume or alternate bio, he was black, right? And then Cyrex and Sector, I think they made an appearance in MK4, furthering fleshing out their characters. Because at that point, if I'm not mistaken, they started to get their humanity back, right? So then in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Sector took over then Lin Kuei, right? If I'm not mistaken. So there was personalities. And then at MK9, they had their personalities even more fleshed out, right? Cyrax was more, I guess, caring. He didn't really want to become the cybernetic, do the cybernetic initiative, right? But Sector was all for it. Sector was more, I don't want to say just all bad, I'm bad, but he was for no games. He was all business, and he was kind of heartless a little bit. So that part of your argument is wrong, right? And then so now we're going and he's talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, but furthers my point that this game, these people that are directing, the writers and what have you, they're getting all of this from the MCU, which is things that me and myself and other YouTubers have talked about. This is nothing but just the MCU in Mortal Kombat. That's all this is. And the fact that you put that in your comments further proves that. That's the first thing that you think about now when you think about Mortal Kombat is the MCU. Because that's in the comment. He's bringing up an analogy, right? Talking about Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy. So going down further, he's talking about how there was mostly men being cyborgs and women not being cyborgs, and he's saying that the women are easier to recast, but that's beside the point. That in my opinion, that kind of really doesn't matter. But a man becoming a cyborg, whatever, that kind of really doesn't matter. So the first part of it, I believe I answered. Now you saying that the game, he's saying that the game is not woke because, his argument to why the game isn't woke is because there are more male characters in the game than there are female characters. That does not mean that the game is not woke. The game is woke because for the first time in a Mortal Kombat game, they're purposefully changing things that doesn't need to be changed, right? Now, let's look at Taya and Melina's relationship. Why are they gay? They don't have to be lesbians, right? Kung Jin and MKX was the established person to represent the the alphabet community, right? He was the established, he was gay. That's what he was in MKX. So since this is a new timeline, instead of just making characters that were previously like Tanya and Kung Lao and MKX, they would have a little flirtatious thing, right? And then since Mortal Kombat Deception, Melina and Baraka have been a thing, right? So instead of just making two characters that previously had things with male guys, instead of making them lesbians, actually use the one character that you guys made gay. That they made him that way. So, and this is because it's a new timeline, wouldn't that make it more of an incentive to use that character anyway? But now Kung Jin isn't popular, right? Kung Jin is not a popular character. Too many people like the Combat Kids. So let's just be honest with that part. So this part, what you talking about, there's more male characters, so the game isn't woke. That doesn't mean anything. Historically speaking, in fighting games, there's always more male characters than there are female characters. In the very first Street Fighter, in Street Fighter 2, there was only one female, which was Chun-Li. In the very first Mortal Kombat game, there was only one female, and that was Sonya. Literally. So historically speaking, there are always more male characters than female characters in fighting games. And historically speaking, just a side note, the female characters can tend to do more because they're not as big and heavy hitting as strong as the male characters, so they can have more setups or can do crazy things, right? Now that's just a side note over. So, yeah, so there's no reason for Tanya and Melina to be gay. They just did that to do that when they already had an established gay character in Kung Jin. Next, you saying that if the game was really woke, whatnot, it said we could have a female first gen Scorpion Sub-Zero. Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not. They're not going to gender swap Sub-Zero and Scorpion. They're not going to. But instead, what they did. Now this is not woke, right? This is just them doing this is unneeded change. They made Scorpion and Sub-Zero brothers, right? Before it was Hanzo Hasashi and Bihan. No, not Bihan, Kuai Liang, right? And then Bihan was the older one, and then he got turned into Noob Saibot. They decided to make Kuai Liang Scorpion, and then Bihan is still Sub-Zero. They completely just negated Hanzo Hasashi's entire legacy. That character is just gone white now. I thought it was going to be like Takeda or something like that, but no, Hanzo Hasashi is gone. He's erased. And Scorpion is Ed Boon's favorite Mortal Kombat character. Scorpion is the Guinness Book of World Records considers Scorpion the very first video game character with a voice. The second is Mario from the Mario 64. Scorpion, and when the game first came out, in Mortal Kombat would say, "Get over here," or "Come here." Voiced by Ed Boon himself. So they're not going to ever gender swap Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They did a stupid story retcon. That was dumb as fuck. There was no need for that. That was dumb. That's why they made the new universe, because it's a new universe. We can do whatever we want now, and the excuse is it's a new universe. That's all anybody can say. That's really the main argument, because it's a new universe. So the next part of your argument is you're saying Sector and Cyrax have been historically uninteresting, so enough said. And what? You said that they need a mix-up to become relevant? What? The fact that you believe that these two characters are uninteresting when they have a cult following, not just a cult following. I like those two characters, right? With Cyrax being more of my favorite, especially during the MK3, MK Trilogy, and Ultimate MK games. Cyrax was my favorite. I like Cyrax a little bit more, even though, in my opinion, Sector was better during that time period. In my humble opinion, people would say that Sector was one of the worst characters in the game. I believe that he was a little bit better than Cyrax. So they're uninteresting. That's crazy. They're some of the most interesting characters in the game, and the reason why is because they're interconnected with Sub-Zero. That was one of the things that made them cool. If you when you go back, if you worked during that time group during that time period, I was born in '92, which is the same year Mortal Kombat came out. So I vividly remember that the Smoke, Robot Form, Cyrex Sector, and Sub-Zero were some of the most well-known and popular characters because of that story that they had, and including Scorpion. That story that all of those characters had together, literally intertwined with one another, is what made those characters popular today. So the fact that they're uninteresting is not historic. It's nowhere near historic. That is subjectively not true. So that is your own opinion. That is factually wrong. So now, next, talking about I guess some things of the story. It looks like a lot of this is head canon, right? And at this point, it's all it is everybody's head canon because we don't know what the next part of the story is going to be, which is fine. That's fair. Everybody is welcome to speculation on how the story is going to go until the story is actually told. And when the story is told, then if you made some good guesses, you made some good guesses. If not, well, then there's nothing that you can do. This is what the creators have told us is canon. But yeah, so we're just going to stick to the part where you just said that the game isn't woke. It is, man. It truly is. And when you really look at the past Mortal Kombat games, in terms of story to character lore and world building, like the timeline has been reset twice. 3 times. Now, if you include Mortal Kombat 1, it's been 3 times. So the timeline was reset in MK9. Because MK9 is a retelling of all the first 3 MK games. Then during MK11, they reset it. Why? And then there's no point to reset the universe. It has already been reset. And their excuse for all their changes is this is a new universe. It's pointless. There's no point for it. And unneeded changes. Unneeded changes. I don't have a problem with females being in the game. I don't have a problem with the woman being clothed. Because if you're a real Mortal Kombat fan, historically speaking, you would know that female Mortal Kombat characters have been covered up. And they have only showed a lot of skin during MK9, where they were damn near naked. Outside of that one game, and maybe MKX, historically speaking, Mortal Kombat female characters have always been covered up. The majority of the time, they have been covered up. So, and why I decided to reply to this guy specifically is because I like his comment. Right, I really liked it because he, instead of just saying, "Oh, because it's new era, the video is trash," he had a well put argument together. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, he gave his opinion on his feelings on how the characters being interesting or not, which, like I said, is factually untrue. And then he gave some other things talking about, the time periods about for cyborgs, men and women being cyborgs, including in cinema and in video games, right? That's why I really wanted to apply to him because he put together a really thought out argument, and that argument allowed me to basically tell everything that I've been telling in all my other videos, in one response. So this is pretty much going to be the end of the video, right? There's nothing else for me to respond to. His name is Knabrotzky. He made a comment on my MKS Vogue Part 2, the gender swap characters. So if you guys want to reply to me directly or go look at the comment or look at the video, we'll include it in the description, the link. So that's really about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you specifically, Knabrotzky, you enjoyed your video. To the other guy, I'm still making your video. They're constantly releasing new things, which changes, which changes the dialogue and including new dialogue and things like that. So it takes some time. It take this what you want in specific is going to take some time, and it's still coming. So that's the end of it. Like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified when I do upload new videos. And as always, peace.